Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and Agenda Setting Meeting for March 5th, 2024 is approximately 7 p.m. If you'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Have a roll call, please.
Mayor Grieslock,
Here.
Mr. Hizzy.
Here.
Mr. Poach.
Here.
Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
Mr. Crut.
Here.
Mr. Adams. Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Biondo.
Here.
Mr. Graziani.
Here.
Mr. Ratcher.
Here.
Ms. Rock.
Here.
Mr. Hugus.
Here.
Mr. Sedlak.
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here. Welcome. I have to start our meeting tonight with very good news, that the Monroeville Convention Center is saved. There has been a lot of hard work over the past several weeks regarding the Monroeville Convention Center. It's an incredibly important asset for this community. 400,000 visits a year every year that come to the Monroeville Convention Center and come to Monroeville. 20,000 hotel rooms directly attributed to conventions at the convention center. The economic impact is staggering and huge, and we've been working very hard on this matter with Oxford and with Hobby Lobby, and we stressed our concerns to them, and they listened, and we're really grateful for that. We're still working out a long-term plan and a long-term agreement. Step one was to say, hey, it's saved, and now we're all going to get together and come up with a long-term solution. We had a tremendous amount of help. This council was very supportive. Manager Graziani, very supportive and very helpful throughout this whole process, but we had a lot of local, state, and county officials that were involved, going all the way up to our Lieutenant Governor. Austin Davis was very helpful in this matter. Our Senator Jay Costa, who is the Senate Minority Leader, really lent a lot of expertise and help. Senator Brewster, Representative Mark Kozik, Representative Nick Piscatano, who's the Allegheny County Delegation Chair, our Allegheny County Executive Innamorato, the Allegheny County Councilperson Michelle Nakaradi-Chapkis. They all really were instrumental in making this happen. A lot of stakeholders were involved, and everyone agreed that it's such an important asset for this community and for the entire region that we're gonna keep it open and come up with a long-term solution. We also need to thank our Visit Monroeville Board, also its president and CEO, Sean Logan, who has been working incredibly hard at this, and he does work incredibly hard all the time for the convention center, and even more so the past several weeks, and their chairperson, Amanda Settlemeyer. A lot of people to thank, and a lot of people are working at this and still working at this, but this is a good day for Monroeville. The convention center is still in business. We're open for business. Just today alone, we called 40 of the shows that were canceled. 38 have already re-signed just today, 38 out of 40, which is incredible. And we're confident there's going to be more shows to come, very much so. Doubletree Hotel, we're still working at that, but that's another bright side. The convention center is definitely connected to the Doubletree. We've already had investors looking at the Doubletree Hotel last week. Today, 5 more investors because of this news that came out that are already looking. So I'm very confident that that's going to be another hotel in the very near future. So I just wanted to report that to everybody, and just want to thank everyone that was involved. But this is a great day for Monroeville and a great way to start the meeting. What a difference that a month makes. And I appreciate all the support and all the passion from the residents and from the stakeholders, from the taxpayers, whether they are Monroeville residents, people that visited the shows, people that had shows there, they were vendors. There was so much outcry and so much support, and that really made a difference for how this all went down, and it really helped stress how important this is for Hobby Lobby and for Oxford to get this done. Ann Lewis, who is the board chair of Oxford, she was very much instrumental in this as well. I don't think this happens without her being involved with it. Oxford had a history here in Monroeville. Her late husband, Ed Lewis, pretty much started out here in Monroeville. They built the mall. We have a street named Oxford Drive. So Ann recognized that, and this is once again, it's a really good day for Monroeville. And we will keep everybody posted on what our next steps are. And lastly, our message to Hobby Lobby. This was never about Hobby Lobby whatsoever. Hobby Lobby is very much welcomed in our community. Any business is welcome in our community, absolutely. We've reached out to Hobby Lobby. We're willing to work with them. We have resources through the municipality, Manager Graziani, myself. We'd be happy to tour them any building they want. We have property owners that have reached out that have interest in having Hobby Lobby come to Monroeville, so we're going to actively pursue them as well. And once again, this wasn't about them whatsoever. We really just wanted to make sure that the convention center was saved, but this is a positive thing for Monroeville, and we will keep everybody posted as we get to a long-term solution. So thank you for attending, and what we're going to do is we're going to go right into our Citizens Night. This is for any resident or taxpayer that would like to present to council, discuss any municipal item. Now would be your chance to do so. If there's anybody who'd like to address council, now would be your time.
Good evening.
And then if you could just sign in if you haven't already.
Yeah, I have signed in.
And then if you haven't, if you could just state your name for the record and that you are a Monroeville resident.
Yes, my name is Peter Friedrich. I'm a Monroeville resident. I'm 250 Cedar.
Welcome, Peter.
Thank you. Forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I'm more of a writer than a speaker. This is my first time speaking here at the council. I just came across an issue in the news which is really deeply concerning to me and which I do think could impact Monroeville, the municipality. I follow politics pretty closely. And as I do, I was reading about some local races when I stumbled across articles in the Pittsburgh City paper and the Intercept about this congressional candidate, this congressional candidate named Bhavini Patel, who's gotten herself into some hot water because supposedly she's taken money or fundraising or something from an Indian American organization that's called the HSS, which is radical and extremist. And I know that sounds like it doesn't have anything to do with the municipality, but then when I started digging and looking into this organization, I realized how it does. As someone who's personally...
Well, and I would remind you, if you could just keep your comments to Monroeville issues
Yes,
specifically,
sir. Yes,
please.
sir. Well, I want to advise the municipality of why this is an issue for you guys, for us. As someone who's personally and professionally really deeply involved with the Indian community across the country, I reached out to my Indian friends and I asked them about this organization called the HSS. And they gave me information about it, and the first thing I learned is that this group has a habit of going around the country to cities, municipalities, counties, and getting resolutions from them, getting like proclamations from them, doing photo ops with the fire and police departments, stuff like that. And I learned like one of the local townships that has done so recently, I think is Upper St. Clair. And the next thing I found is that this group, the HSS, they have 2 chapters here in Greater Pittsburgh. You know, apparently this group does all of this, but here's my concern and why I looked, and I'm not sure if Monroeville is already engaged with the HSS or not, but I wanted to ask you, please don't. You know, it really concerns me to see our local governments and politicians getting involved with a group like this and affirming them, and it's so strange that they do, because it only took me a few seconds looking up on Google about the HSS to realize how problematic they are. And I just wanted to flag that for the municipality so you know not to get involved with them, but also why not to get involved with them. You see, if you look them up, it says that their parent organization, this HSS here in Pittsburgh, is an outfit back in India called the RSS. And I like to research, so I looked on Wikipedia, and it says that the RSS is a right-wing Hindu nationalist paramilitary organization which draws its inspiration from European fascist movements. I mean, like, what in the world? And this HSS, which is apparently the American wing of this fascist RSS paramilitary. It's here in Pittsburgh area getting glad-handed by local city governments. I don't want to make sure that doesn't happen with the Monroeville municipality, because that's so scary. I dug a little bit deeper, and these groups, they're involved. The RSS, this parent organization back in India, they're involved in massacres of Christians and Muslims, massacres where they apparently killed thousands of people in a few days. And one quote I stumbled across by a French political scientist, I think it's in this info packet I found, and I printed for you guys. It says that the HSS is the RSS operated under a different name, but it will strive to mask the links that they have with the RSS to avoid being overtly stigmatized. And there's a whole lot more I could cover, but I don't think it's appropriate for sharing. The scariest thing I found was that one of the leaders of that RSS group during World War II apparently said a lot of anti-Semitic stuff, including he called Judaism an intolerant faith.
Peter, you have 1 minute if
Okay.
you want to finish up your comments, and if you have handouts, you can certainly hand them in, and we'll make sure we
And this leader of the RSS, he talked about how the RSS should treat the Holocaust as a justification for its own goal of eradicating religious minorities from India. And so it's really frightening that it's apparently a big thing around the country and here in PA and in Pittsburgh for the HSS to come knocking on the doors of local governments and try and get into your good graces. And your guess is as good as mine as to why they would want access to your political power. But I just want to ask Monroeville to please be on the lookout.
I will leave the floor open for anyone who'd like to address council
Thank you.
on any municipal item.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Again, appreciate everybody's hard work. It was a great thing going on, so we really appreciate that,
Thank
for
you.
sure. My name is Ralph Leotti. Proud occupant, resident of Monroeville, 2.5 years. But I want to address council the fact that we are overly grateful for the ability to be actually added. We are on the agenda tonight for the Scarlet View discussion to be adopted. We have been, I speak for the 12 families who live there. It's been a rough go, just being kind of stood alone with the street issue. And, again, I can't thank you enough for actually putting it here on the agenda. Hopefully, we can be granted the same type of coverage that our sister street, Asbury Court, was granted a little over 2 years ago. Kind of the same background, the same issue with the developer going bankrupt and that type of thing. It's basically the same issue. It gives you the advantage to get the fuel funds into the borough and adding the street to it. So certainly open up to anyone on council for any questions you may have as this goes forward. Certainly Mr. Cutt, our ward representative. I also have Mary Ann McConnell here with me as well, HOA president. So any questions that, as it comes down to discussing the agenda, we're here for that.
Thank you, Ralph.
And again, I appreciate it.
Very good.
Hello. Congratulations, Nick and everybody. I thought I was going to be coming here talking about why we need to keep the convention center here. But my comments are very related. Whoops, there goes Channel 4.
If you could state your name, please.
My name is Alyssa Beth Horansky Beck. And I'm stating my full name because I'm very excited. I've just written a book and it was just published and I used my full name. But the reason I'm here tonight is not only to congratulate all of you and all of us, community members who came together to keep the convention center here, but also to restoke interest in the mall and restoking the mall. So there's an organization, for people who don't know me, and Mr. Graziani, welcome, I have a present for you.
I was wondering, Dr. Beck, what? You forgot the rest of us.
I didn't forget the rest of you because Mr. Graziani has to share.
Okay.
When he is done with his countertop sprouting kit,
Oh, that one, okay, yes.
I have enough sprouts for everybody on council.
How did I know that?
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
So
you, Doctor.
hold on to these.
Thanks, miss.
And if you don't want them.
I'll pass them down. Why don't you give-
Okay, I don't have enough for everybody, so you may have to do but the idea is, how do we become a self-sustaining municipality? I'm the founder of Sustainable Monroeville. For those of you who don't know, I founded that organization in 2009. Vegan Spirituality Southwest PA in 2019, and also reimagine the Turtle Creek watershed and airshed communities. And I just want to put another seed, another sprout in the community when everybody's so receptive and understanding that when the big box retailers leave, a lot of Monroeville leaves. And we don't want that to happen. And so we've been working behind the scenes through Reimagine the Turtle Creek Watershed and Airshed Communities Plus, which is reimaginetcwac.org. I know Mr. Graziani probably has to take notes, or maybe he's heard of this before, because Churchill is part of the Turtle Creek Watershed, as well as 33 other local communities. But there's a Monroeville Eco Mall project that was done through CMU that talks about the collaboration of all of these organizations and governments and people that you've just mentioned that saved the convention center. Let's save the mall, and let's save the community, and let's reimagine and reinvent the community. Now is the time. There is a meeting happening this coming Saturday in Murraysville. ProtectPT.org is the organization that has planned that. Reimagine TICWAC has kind of temporarily as part of that organization. Go to the church in Murraysville, which is also part of the Turtle Creek watershed. Let's collaborate with neighboring communities. Let's make Monroeville Mall, even though we don't own it yet, the prototype for what malls can be around the country. Let's grow trees on the rooftop. Let's demonstrate to people how to, if they plant an apple tree, we'll have enough apples for the whole community for the year. And I can go on, but my 5 minutes is probably close to ending. Is that true, Mr. Grazak?
About a minute, yeah.
Okay, I have a minute left. So what else can we imagine? I've been here, Mr. Graziani, in front of this council a few times. I still get nervous. Where's that guy over there? I still get nervous because it's nerve-wracking standing in front of the community, which I believe why more people don't come up here. But based on what I've shared over the years, do any of you, Mr. Poach, help me out here? What are some ideas that we could do? What could we put into the mall? What could we suggest to the owners of the mall so that this mall becomes an eco-mall prototype for the world? I think big.
You always do.
Give me one idea. What can go in there?
I'm gonna have to look at it. Leslie, you caught me off guard for that,
Okay,
but I'll
is there
have some thoughts
anybody
for
who
you.
has
Short
any
with words,
ideas?
take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Dr. Gressock?
No, I think you have very ambitious goals, and I think creative ideas, and maybe we could arrange a meeting with mall management. Maybe you could talk to them. Maybe there's some things that are happening in other malls across the United States. Maybe some things
And
are.
so in that
We can
eco
recreate
mall
that.
presentation, there's just loads of ideas. Permeable pavement, gardens, food gardens in the parking lot, because there's a little bit of extra parking, that
But if
sort
you
of
give me the
thing.
information, I can definitely get it to mall management.
Okay, I actually sent you one email about 20 minutes ago. After I heard the good news, I sent you an email, but that's not the whole thing. I'll give you all the documents. I
Yeah, and
have.
we'll forward it on, absolutely.
And just a reminder, Saturday, there's a Unitarian church in Murraysville where the Reimagine TICWAC meeting is. If everybody in the community shows up and we put pressure on the way that you did with all these other people, then we can make miracles happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Becker. I will leave the floor open for anyone that would like to address council on any municipal item. All right, we're going to close that comment period. There will be no more public comment this evening, but like I mentioned earlier, prior to the meeting, there will be a comment period before next Tuesday's meeting on agenda items only. But at the end of that same meeting next week, there will be another comment period for any municipal item. So 2 more comment periods next week. But thank you for coming out this evening. But we're going to close the comment period and move on through our agenda. We have a presentation this evening by Nicole Henline, Library Director here in Monroeville.
Good evening. Congratulations and thank you to everyone who had a hand in working together to get that done. That is amazing and shows you what can happen when people work together. Jared has slides for me. Thank you, Jared. I just wanted to take a moment before my presentation to thank everyone who made the recent mini golf fundraiser a great success. It was a fun, fulfilling day, including 266 attendees during the family event and 110 attendees during the adult event. It would not have been possible without our sponsors, board, volunteers, and our staff. So a huge thank you to everyone who came, who donated, who shared information about it. You all made it a great fundraiser and community event. And if you haven't been to the first two, we hope you can join us next year. And so I'm here this evening to talk about an opportunity to submit a grant that we have in April. And in order to submit that grant for this project, we need your support. As you know, the library means a lot to the community and it benefits your constituents. I just finished with the 2023 numbers, so I have new numbers for you. As of the end of 2023, 56% of Monroeville residents have a library card. Over 409,000 items were circulated. There were over 181,000 visits to the library itself. Over 20,000 people attended programs, and another 14,000 people attended community meetings that were held at the library. The library offers people the opportunity to connect, discover, learn, and engage. Throughout the strategic planning process, which we've been doing for the past year and has been funded through our nonprofit, the Monroeville Public Library Fund, it has been made, a clear need emerged as conversations were being had with community members and community leaders. And that was that the library needed to be able to provide more in the way of a community center. The library, along with the senior center, being centrally located and part of the Gateway campus, is seen as a community center. The Monroeville Public Library Fund then funded a feasibility study to see what that might look like. And while we were in the middle of doing that, this grant came up that made us move a little faster than we might normally have. So this project is called Building Together, a community-centered library expansion, and it will increase the size and capability of the Monroeville Public Library through a building expansion project of 9,400 square feet and renovate the 23,600 square feet of the 60-year-old space that we currently inhabit. It will mostly be financed by targeting grant money and community fundraising, a capital campaign. It will allow for growth of the capabilities of the facility and enhance services, increase the size and efficiency of the facility, create a community destination, and it will accomplish this with as limited local public money as possible. So why are we doing this? We want to make the library even more into the vital part of the community center that people already expect it to be. We want to create a community destination, a space for community gatherings, a place for community members to connect, and more space for services for not just the library, but the whole community. This will provide spaces for other departments to use as well. Recreation and parks, they're always looking for rooms for their classes, and we would love to be able to offer more of that. Our TV station does not currently have a studio, and we would like to rectify that as well. And our municipal government, when you need a larger space for your community meetings, we would be able to provide that. We would also like to work closely with the senior center, with the discovery gardens between us, connecting us, and creating future intergenerational programming opportunities. The building is 60 years old this year, November. 60th anniversary starts in November. The building it needs quite a bit of work, as most of you know. It also needs ADA accessibility. Currently, a lot of our ADA is grandfathered in, which means it's not actually ADA accessible. It's simply good enough until we do any work. The project would also update safety and security by bringing the children's room upstairs, as well as updating safety and security to current practices, including the addition of a fire system, which we currently do not have. I was surprised by that. When I arrived, my assistant at the time told me that she was told it was because water hurts books. I said fire also hurts books. But I don't know. There is, but that is something we would like to install. The ADA access will include updating all bathrooms, all sidewalks, except the very front, which was recently done with a grant, and will make the building more efficient, including bookshelf spacing with better maneuvering for wheelchairs. It's going to create efficiency, not just of utilities, although that too, but also a better use of space. It will include mobile shelving and other furniture that will allow for flexible use of space so that going into the future, we won't have to reinvent the wheel because everything will be on wheels. So why now? Because the grant funding is available, and it felt like when we read this grant, it was written for this project. It's a one-time money funneled from the federal government through the state, through DCED. We can ask for a maximum of $2 million. The application is due in April. It feels like I said, it felt like it was written for this project, and we thought it was an opportunity too good to pass by to try to bring this funding into the community, improve upon this space that is for everyone. It would leverage the money that already needs to be spent on improving the building fivefold. So the next slide, and I apologize, I should have had those slides in your packet, but shows if we don't do this project at all. So if we just take a step back and say no project, we just need to get the library to the bare minimum. This is what needs to be done. Our roof needs replaced. It's been patched, it's been looked at, it absolutely needs replaced, and as of today, the quote is $240,000. The water problem in the vestibule was fixed several years ago with that same grant that fixed the front sidewalks. However, from years of water getting into that space, we have large gaps between the walls, the floor, the roof. It's actually kind of interesting to look at if you're there, but it's a little scary too. And that will be at least $175,000 to replace. The walks, walls, and sidewalks around the library are all crumbling and cracking, need replaced everywhere except for that front part that was replaced with the grant. The carpet we need ADA accessible bathrooms. We need security updates. We are one of, if not the most visited municipal building. And our generator needs replaced. Currently, we have about 10 minutes to get people out of the building if the power goes out, and the lighting we have to do that is not sufficient, especially in the stairwells. So the current amount that it would take to get the building to where it needs to be, at a minimum to be safe and secure, is hitting almost $1 million. We can put almost $1 million into the building to bring it up to the bare minimum and have nothing change. Or we can put $2 million towards a larger project and leverage grant money and fundraising to have a much more robust, community-centered library that serves more people, connects our community, provides more space, offers more opportunities, and attracts more people into our community. So on slide 8, this is our basic funding plan. We're asking the municipality for $2 million out of a $10 million project. These are some of the grants that we've been told about by our consultants and representatives that are available, and we will certainly be looking for more. This is just the beginning of our research. Again, we probably would have looked to get some of this more definitively secured before approaching you. However, the DCD grant and its deadline sped up our plan. So our request to the municipality is for you to pass the resolution that is in your packet. And that is simply saying that you know about and support our application for the DCED grant. We ask for a letter of support for that DCED grant and any grants that we may submit in the future. And we ask for a $2 million investment into this $10 million project. And that would be instead of the capital improvements that need to be done. And we ask for vocal support for the project that highlights how it will benefit the community and your constituents. This is a once-in-a-generation project, or in the library's case, a once-in-every-3-generation project. opportunity to transform a community asset into a community treasure. And we would love your support with that. And we do have basic plans, but they are literally being worked on as we speak, so I did not bring them. But we are going to have, if we continue with this, we will have listening sessions at the library where people can come, hear more about it, ask questions, have their questions answered, and things like that, so that we make sure that we're getting lots of different perspectives in addition to what we received from the strategic planning.
One quick question for you, Nicole, too. Jared, can you go back to the next to last slide, or slide with the lists of the grant and DCD grant on it? Yep, that's the
That
one.
one? Yep.
So the Keystone grant is a matching grant?
Yes, actually, probably most, if not all of that 2 million that we're asking for would be matched up against something.
Yeah. So
So-
already in place, so it's really not that much of an investment on, capital investment on municipality side, as much as, first of all, the ask, obviously, is the commitment to the resolution to
Yes.
proceed forward. That's
Correct.
That's what we need done, by next week.
Yes.
Hopefully, to do that. And if we back up one other slide. Yeah, some of these things we've already begun to engage, to do. The security updates, for example, gentlemen, were also part of the program that we're already moving forward now. So that would count forward as well, that we're working on security updates across the entire municipality. That's correct. So that's kind of already there. That's not in addition to.
This would be included in that $10 million project, correct? So-
To do that. The roof we've been working on, as well as the HVAC systems are
Yes.
coming in right now, and some of that will also work towards this as well.
The HVAC systems are already in,
Okay.
so unfortunately, they won't count towards it because you can't use something towards a grant that you've already
Okay.
put in. But the things that are in the capital improvement plan right now can certainly be used as matching pieces in grants.
Yeah, and to the rest of council, in the last couple of years, everything that's on here, we've seen before already in capital requests from that. We just haven't done large, capital planning purchases too. So there isn't anything on here that's new. Bob, I know you've been giving us heck about that space over there and underneath the door. That was after the one part of that grant was finished. It was, I know you've seen that several times.
You know what the holes look like between the floor and the
Yeah.
and the walls.
Yeah, we put in, because the permeable pavement only went so far, and, it's different.
That project did a great job of stopping the water damage. There was no additional water damage, but now the place that was water damaged over years needs replaced.
Yeah, so none of that is brand new. All of those items, I think pretty much on that list, have been before us in the last 2 years
Or more.
or more
Yeah.
of that, as we go to move forward, since we haven't done any other capitals too. So those aren't a surprise. But in this case, they'll work in our favor towards,
We would be able to leverage what we need done in the building anyway towards a larger project.
yeah, so that's nothing else that's new on there too.
No.
Do that. Okay. So the ask is get a resolution too, and we have a
Correct.
packet in front, so we can talk about that for next week.
Yes. And if there are any questions in the meantime, I would be very happy to meet with anyone to answer them, or, call me, anything you'd like. I'd be very happy to discuss with you.
And Nicole, I think some general plans for council would be helpful.
Yes,
'cause,
absolutely.
This all sounds great, but it's a $10 million project
Yep.
that we're just learning about right now. So I think if council had a little more information, that'd be very, very helpful.
Yes.
But I do understand the timing of things, and
I will email the general plans over to Alex tomorrow, and he can share those, just as long as you remember they're a draft. And
Yeah,
we have
absolutely,
a
yeah.
couple
No, you made that
things,
clear.
But the couple of things that will make it a destination are things that do not exist nearby. The Discovery Garden, which we have been working on, which kind of led to this, because we need infrastructure in order to do the Discovery Garden. The audiovisual studio, a memory lab, which will allow people to take their family memories and use technology to digitize them. And there's really nowhere you can do that without an outlay of a lot of money. And then there's a fourth thing. What am I forgetting? Oh, the makerspace. The Maker Lab, which is very well used right now, is in a very small space. So the Maker Lab would be 3, maybe a little bit more times bigger, and so would allow us to really create some destination spaces that I believe people would, not only in Monroeville would get a lot out of, but would come from neighboring communities to utilize.
Okay. And then does the project, the $10 million, does that include parking?
Yes.
Because we're hopefully, if you're going to expand, offering more, we definitely need more parking between the library and the senior center, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, to do
But
that.
that's part of the.
Yes, it
the
is.
money? It's okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, if you can get that information over, and then council can talk about it and think about it over the week, and
And that group over there, which is most of the library board and stuff, has a really good history of raising funds too. And I think
Yes.
that's another piece to recognize, because the last part of that slide talked about a fundraising activity. That's really the major thrust to keep the project moving too. So when the elevator came in, that was what, 200, I don't remember now.
About 220,000 when all was said and done.
That Monroeville, we did not spend, out of capital funds, spend on that. That was the fundraising activity and,
Correct.
yeah, to do that as well. So that was a key piece of it. So that's also a key function of this long-term, plan to raise the money. The idea is to minimize, capital outlay, but
Yes, and to leverage what we're going to spend on capital anyway to make it even better for the community.
grant and funds. Okay.
Thank you so much for
Good
your
job.
time.
thanks, Nicole. Council, we're moving through our agenda. We're closing Citizens Night, and we're moving over to our agenda-setting meeting.
I gotta hit that.
I have an executive session announcement that council conducted an executive session tonight, March 5th, from 6:15 to approximately 7 PM for personnel and litigation reasons. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at next week's March 12th regular council meeting. Council, the minutes that we will consider for next week will be the council budget meeting of November 2nd, 23, the Citizens Night meeting of February 6th of 24, the council agenda-setting meeting of February 6th, 24, and the regular council meeting of February 13th, 2024. Any questions or comments about those minutes, council? Hearing none. Reports of the tax collections. Any questions or comments, council? Hearing none, moving on. List of bills and budget transfers for this month. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, moving over to the payroll report. Questions or comments? Very good. We will consider vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities next week, and we're going to start up with our bids and proposals. We have one for this evening to be considered next Tuesday. Once again, this is not a voting meeting. Mr. Graziani, please.
Yeah, so with the help of the different departments that are involved, including Public Works and Police and IT, there's surplus equipment that's been posted online. We're getting bids. The bids will close this Friday, and we're pretty pleased, but more bids, the merrier.
So we'll have a spreadsheet for you on Tuesday to show you what the final bids were.
Very good. Moving over to our new business for this month. We have 24-2-SUB, Roy Musser. Mr. Graziani, please.
The applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval to subdivide tax parcel 861A119 into 3 lots. Lot 1 with an acreage of 0.1056 acres, Lot 2 with an acreage of 2.0991 acres, and Parcel A with an acreage of 0.7925 in the S Conservancy zoning district. The property is located at 1876 Haymaker Road. Variances were granted for the proposed nonconformities created by the subdivision. Zoning Hearing Board File Number 224-1-A, the Planning Commission recommends approval of this application.
Very good. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. Hi, Pete Brothers, I'm with
Pete.
Steel City, I'm representing Mr. Musser, the landowner.
Great.
So, yeah, as he said, we're looking for approval for the subdivision of the the lots, there was an existing tax parcel, and they wanted to subdivide it into 2 lots, which ended up being 3 lots because of the deed. And so variances were approved. It was approved last at the Planning Commission meeting, so that's the order.
Okay. Great. Mr. Wielden, any comments from a municipal standpoint?
It was slightly confusing because there's 2 existing houses on one property, and they're very close together. So the owner of the property wanted to subdivide the property so they could sell each house individually, and that created nonconformities. They didn't meet required setbacks. So they had to go to zoning hearing board to get variances for that, and then it went through planning commission, and it was recommended for approval.
So right now, everything's good to go, other than hopefully this body acting on this next Tuesday.
Correct.
So
Okay.
the variances that they granted were basically just for setbacks?
Yes. Do you have them listed on the plan? Can you?
Yes, I do, yeah. So there was a variance to lot number 2 for frontage, a variance to lot number 1 for area, width, frontage, side, and rear setbacks.
Any other questions, council?
Access to them houses, how's that gonna be?
Yeah, so there's an existing easement that is a driveway in the deeds that comes off of Haymaker. It runs a 12-foot wide access back to these homes. It's been there, it's existing. And so the lots are stopping here at the front, which will provide access to this house through their existing driveway. And then there's a turnaround parking area that also has gravel parking off to the side right here.
And we're giving it through another person's driveway?
You might have to reposition that a little bit, and then Jared can zoom in. So you,
Let's see.
Yeah,
Push-
sure.
Yeah,
Yep.
push towards.
Yep.
up a little bit more, yeah, then Jared,
Well,
okay.
keep going, Jared.
Keep going in, sure.
Yeah, Pete, just slide it just a little bit towards us, a little bit more. There you go.
Okay,
If
yep.
you could just orient us real quick, just what.
Sure. Haymaker Road sitting here,
Yep.
okay, Second Street's down here. These are the 2 existing houses that were there that were on one lot. So we're carving off this house on its own lot, which is the one that has most of the non-conforming issues. And then lot
Actually,
2 is the
I'm sorry,
other.
Pete. No, I just want to make sure, could you slide it towards Haymaker?
Yeah, sure.
There we go. Okay, thank you.
Better?
See it.
See it now? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there was an existing gravel drive coming off of Haymaker that falls within this 12-foot driveway right-of-way that is already part of the deeds for the parcels that it's affecting, which is crossing across the Murphy property, which then leads to the Musser property. And that driveway is what the easement is going to, it still exists, it's going to use to provide access to these houses.
And all parties are agreeable on this?
So the parties that, so it's in everybody's deed. They agreed to it back in 1960 as having a driveway easement to those parcels. There has not been really, and Mr. Musser can maybe speak on its family, but they, there's an existing document that says there's a rights to use for accessors and assigns to use that driveway to get access to that lot, and that's what we're using to provide that access again.
Okay.
Bob, is there anything that we should know about this? Is this between them? The
Yeah,
subdivision, not us?
Essentially, any restrictions or rights granted in deeds, unless they're granted to the public, which in this case they're not, those are private agreements between the people who are parties to the deeds and the people who follow them up, become subsequent owners or whatever. So before council is a subdivision. The municipality's planning code sets the requirements for subdivisions. And in this case, there's nothing that the municipality would have to act on. If somebody had a private right or wanted to contest one of the rights in those deeds, they would have to do that on their own. The municipality has no power to exercise any control over them.
Understood. Any other questions, council? Pete, anything else you want to add? Yeah, and this is not any kind of public hearing item by any means, but this will be in front of council next Tuesday to be voted on. Sure. And there certainly will be a public comment period prior to this item, so if there's anyone that would like to speak about this item, next Tuesday would be the time for them to do it. And, but we'll consider this next Tuesday.
Thank you, Mayor.
There was, I'm not sure, a neighbor or what, who I think Paul and I were talking to him before the meeting, and if council was so inclined to allow the person to speak, it may be beneficial.
There's somebody in the audience that would like to speak tonight. If you don't want to let them speak tonight, they can come next week, but they are here and would like to address council.
They're here. I gave everybody else 5 minutes, so we'll give 5 minutes, we'll keep the 5 minutes going here. And we'll save you the trip.
Excuse me.
Did you sign in, sir?
My name is Ken Murphy. I live at 1874 Haymaker Road.
Ken,
I have the property.
excuse me, can you sign in, please?
I'm already signed.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have the property right in front of the Musser property. We're not here to stop the sale of the property. That's not our concern. We're objecting to the variance because it does not include separate access to each property. The current driveway cannot support the increased traffic of a subdivision. Current driveway is 12 feet wide at its widest point. It narrows down to 9 feet when you get to the end of it between 1874 and 1880 Haymaker Road. The excess traffic and the heavy trucks that come through will not support a subdivision. What we're suggesting is that Mr. Musser install or create a separate driveway from Second Street up onto the properties. There's more than enough room, and we think that's what he should do, because we don't think it'll support. We've already had damage to our property. We've had our foundation wall repaired once. We had an inspection on it again today, and we need to have more repair done to it because of the excess traffic. And we've had our roof damaged because of oversized trucks coming in for deliveries and furniture movers and all that stuff. So going from a 12-foot wide driveway, and it's just dirt and gravel, down to a 9-foot wide driveway, when you get to the end of the property, or end of the house, I don't think it'll support the excess traffic needed. And that's what we're looking for.
Ken, my question is to you, does the Musser property where he wants to does that go down, extend all the way down to Second Street?
All the way down to Second Street.
All right.
Is your complaint that the variances were granted to do this project? Is that what your complaint is? I'm confused.
Well, we're complaining that they're using our property as access to the subdivision. And I don't think the driveway will support a subdivision in the back. But if they put separate driveways in,
So you're saying the access point is your problem?
it's my problem, yes, sir.
Okay. Just want to understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
No.
Council, very good.
Thank you.
Council, any other comments at this time? This will be in front of us next Tuesday, and we can consider it then. Moving on. 24-3-SUB, Monroeville Dodge.
Applicant is requesting preliminary and final subdivision approval to subdivide .0208 acres from tax parcel 542D-115 and consolidate the subdivided portion to parcel 2, known as tax parcel 638-N-048, to create a parcel with the acreage of 8.77 acres in the C2 Business Zoning District. The property is located at 3633 William Penn Highway. The Planning Commission recommends approval of this application.
Good evening, council. My name is Evan Canavy. This is pretty straightforward subdivision, if, not sure if it's up here yet.
We'll get
but
there. Jared,
pre-
yep.
Pretty simple. We're this larger parcel here. They're just trying to acquire this piece here and this piece here.
Can you just orient them, tell them what who owns the property? It's Monroeville Dodge down by St.
Monroeville Dodge, yes.
So where?
And this is William Penn Highway here.
Sam's Club.
Do I have it upside down for you guys?
Orient it towards yourself.
Yep, sorry about that. It was easier for me as well. William Penn Highway, this is a private drive. I forget what businesses are up along here, but all they're trying to do is acquire this space, which they, from my understanding, they've already been using as parking. It's been an agreement between the two owners, and they're just trying to acquire it, to add it to this, or to make it one large parcel.
Is that the Vision
Center.
Center? Guy Place, okay.
That's the entrance to Sam's Club.
So I'm sorry, they're trying to acquire that parcel.
Correct. This piece here, and then this little piece here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
What are their intentions for that property?
For this, sir? I believe to continue to use it as parking, but just to make it officially theirs, I believe that's it.
I got you.
That's my understanding.
Because what, a year or so ago, we authorized up on top of the hill for parking.
Okay,
You're right.
Parking vehicles up there
Yeah.
for a year and a half.
okay.
Mr. Wilden, anything from a municipal standpoint, any concerns?
No, this one's pretty simple, no opposition. And the site plan that Mr. Stevenson was talking about was for inventory parking. It's a gravel lot up on top of the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's all the same owner, FMH. It's the Dodge dealership.
Very good. Any other questions, council? We'll consider this next Tuesday.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much.
coming out. Council, moving over to our motions, we have one to consider for next week. Mr. Graziani, please.
So this motion would involve the solicitor working with the Development Department and Engineering Department, and it would to work on authorizing to advertise an ordinance to accept Scarlet View Court, as was addressed earlier.
Okay. Questions or comments? Okay, we're moving over to our resolutions. We have 5 for this month. Mr. Graziani, please.
Yeah, first is a resolution authorizing the distribution of grant funds in the amount of $5,500 for the Memorial Day Parade. Of course, it's in your packet. A resolution, number 2, authorizing the distribution of grant funds in the amount of $12,000 for the Monroeville Independence festivities. The Convention Visitors Bureau also contributes $12,500, and again, the application is attached. Number 3, a resolution authorizing the advertising for bids for the 2024 road resurfacing program for the attached list of roadways throughout Monroeville. And as you have in the past, it's a comprehensive approach to maintaining the road system here in the community. Resolution number 4 is a resolution authorizing application to the Pennsylvania COVID-19 ARPA-PA Multi-Purpose Community Facilities Program for the library's renovation, expansion, and Discovery Gardens. And that was the resolution that was discussed earlier in Nicole's presentation. Lastly, number 5, a resolution authorizing the display of various event banners at the corner of the intersection of State Routes 22 and 48 within the right-of-way of property belonging to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation.
Okay, very good. Any questions or comments about those items, council?
We're all housekeeping.
Very good. We have one ordinance to consider for this month. Mr. Ratcher, please.
An ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, providing for the vacation of a portion of Brookside Drive, formerly known as a portion of Old William Penn Highway, from its intersection with Route 22 West to a point at the southeasterly line of Timber Trail Drive, a distance of approximately 1,825 linear feet, containing 2.099 acres, more or less, in area. And they're back in the yellow paper here. There's a legal description, and there's also the drawing that depicts the area that would be vacated and would belong then to the owners on both sides of the road, which I believe principally is the Grace Life Church.
Oh, that's that one, okay.
And this is the one that's down by the old trailer park.
Yes. Thank you.
Lower 22. The road's been closed because the bridge is in bad repair and is apparently not going to be repaired. And it's been closed for at least 5-7 years, if not longer.
Very good. Questions or comments, council? Very good. Moving to our reports of staff. Mr. Ratcher, anything this evening?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Graziani?
Their monthly report is attached, and welcome interactions with council members. Come by and visit anytime, or give me a drive through the community. I'd appreciate it. A couple other things we have are the Turtle Creek Connector public meetings, which are also attached. And this week, March 9th, is the Household Hazardous Waste and Electronic Collection event. And again, there's more information that can be found online related to the hours and how that all works. We've described that a few times. Any other comments to make, Mr. Hugus?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Hugus, anything in general?
I do not.
Okay. Ms. Rock?
Nope, nothing.
Thank you. Reports of our council members.
I have none, Mayor.
I guess we'll start with Mr. Hizzy this evening.
You start every other.
Mr. Poach?
In the more question before I come to the report. Pink section, we have the other grant applications for Memorial Day and 4th of July. Did we need, that's nothing we need to act on for next week, or just as is? How do we act?
Everything there.
They're in the motions.
They were in the early motions? Okay, I stepped out there. Okay, I missed.
Yeah, that's for next
missed it.
Tuesday. Yep, they're in there.
I apologize.
Resolutions.
For that, too. As for my report on that, too, first of all, sympathies out to somebody from the library board's parents, Cindy Lucas, Cindy Adelsberg, to me, Mrs. Adelsberg, known for, just passed away. So we're sorry to hear that. That was some news today. And also, passing of, some of you may or may not have known, the former assistant police chief, Lenny Tinsley. He just passed away. And Joe, I'm sorry, where's the funeral at again?
Lanigan's.
He'll be Lanigan's in Turtle Creek tomorrow. Knew Lenny for a number of years.
Yeah, and Mr. Poach, he was the former
Assistant chief.
Assistant chief.
Yeah,
from
assistant chief, right.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Lenny pretty well from them, too. And then finally, congratulations to our newest American citizen. It was a surprise to me, because she kept it to herself. My wife passed her citizen's test. She didn't want to tell anybody unless she passed the test, too. So on Wednesday, she was sworn in as an American. They took the test in the morning and then said, come back at 1:30, you're sworn in. There's no ceremony to do that, too. So there's no way to export her. Can't get out of the country, too, but to do that as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah, to do that, too. So congratulations to her. Kind of a surprise. She got, after 27 years, she decided to stay in the neighborhood, I guess. Not to do it.
We're happy to have her here in Monroeville.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Stevenson?
I have a couple of items, Mayor. The first is I want to congratulate our police department. They went down to the Polar Plunge and raised $10,000 for Special Olympics, and I think they need applauded for that, so we thank them immensely. I also had a meeting with the, I'm the council representative for the Police Pension Board. We had a meeting last week, and their financial people are doing a pretty good job. Their plan is solvent, and they're doing very well. And they need a pension when they're done, I'll tell you, because they have a job that nobody wants anymore. And God bless them for what they do. The only other thing, again, is related to police. Both our police officers that were shot are doing well. One is released for work. The other is not yet. So, but they're recovering, and would like to see them back and have our police out there doing what they do to protect us all. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
Thanks, Bob.
Anything this evening?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Williams?
Well, condolences to the Len Tinsley family, the passing away of Leonard. And the only other thing, the convention center, great day for Monroeville and the entire region. And it's going to bring a lot of tourism to Monroeville, and great place to live, great amenities here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Biondo.
Yes, I agree with what Bob said. Congratulations, Tracy, on your citizenship. The mayor earlier thanked a lot of people. There's another person that needs thanked. The mayor has done a great job throughout this process. He has really stepped up and very much deserve this, Mayor. Thank you for everything you've done to support this project. And Julie, I'm bringing home some sprouts, and that's all I have.
That's great. Well, yeah, once again, thanks, everyone. A lot of people working hard for the convention center, and it was definitely a group effort, and we're really looking forward to a long-term commitment, which is great. Condolences to the Tinsley family. Congratulations to Tracy Poach for her citizenship, and busy couple months here for Mr. Graziani, our new manager. So keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. And thank you all for attending. We will see you next Tuesday. Motion to adjourn, please. Is there a second? All in favor? Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you and good night.